I, I'm going to start by saying I am not a f***ing
At the absolute peak of his rise, Shane Dawson was everywhere. Nearly every upload pulled in tens of millions of views. His merch drops made millions in minutes, and he even landed multiple feature-length films. To a massive audience, Shane Dawson wasn't just popular, he was untouchable, the so-called king of YouTube. But behind the clicks, the fame, and the non-stop hype, there was a much darker reality that most people completely missed, until it was way too late.
Waffles, French toast, bacon, scrambled eggs.
Mom, what are you doing?
I'm getting my hair done, bitch.
Most people remember the moment his career finally blew up in flames, but hardly anyone understands how deep the mess actually went. The scandal that officially ended him was only the tip of something way uglier, buried under years of ignored behavior and warning signs. This wasn't one mistake, it was a long pattern. What truly dragged Shane down was a history of strange, unsettling, and flat-out gross behavior that still shocks people today. Even now, as more details surface, the reaction is the same: disbelief mixed with disgust. Shane Lee, also known as Shane Dawson, was born in Long Beach, California, on July 19, 1988. His early life wasn't some feel-good story. He grew up with an abusive father who eventually walked out, leaving Shane, his siblings, and their mom to fend for themselves. After his father disappeared, money was tight for years. At school, Shane was bullied for his weight, which only made things worse. With pressure hitting him from every angle, he escaped through humor and cameras. That coping habit turned serious when, at just 19 years old, he launched his first channel, Shane Dawson TV, in March 2008. His early videos were loud, exaggerated comedy sketches where he played multiple over-the-top characters like Shanae, Ned the Nerd, Aunt Hilda, and others. The formula was simple: shock value, edgy jokes, and pushing boundaries as far as he could.
Oh, good, she's passed out. Now make me some grandkids. I'll give you two some privacy.
Uh-oh, never leave your cup uncovered on Degrassi. That's how losers get date raped. Ha! Loser!
For example, back in August 2008, while working at Jenny Craig, Shane uploaded a wild video filmed right inside his workplace. The clip showed him pole dancing on the job, while co-workers were caught on camera reading out inappropriate passages from a book. Once the company saw it, the fallout was instant. Shane was fired, along with his mother, his brother, and 6 co-workers who appeared in the video. Even though that incident didn't slow his grind at all, it quietly set the tone for what would come back to haunt him years later. This was the early warning sign of a creator who kept pushing limits without thinking about consequences. And back then, edgy humor wasn't just accepted, it was rewarded. Because that shock-heavy style was blowing up in YouTube's early days, Shane's rise was insanely fast. He went from an unknown kid uploading sketches to a full-on internet star almost overnight. By December 2009, he hit 1 million subscribers, and by April 2010, he was already the 3rd biggest creator on the entire platform. As the 2000s rolled in, Shane slowly ditched the sketch characters and leaned into vlog-style content on his second channel. Fans loved seeing a more casual, everyday version of one of YouTube's biggest names, and the channel exploded, stacking millions of subscribers year after year. During this phase, he teamed up with massive creators like Miranda Sings, Trisha Paytas, and Anna Panini, keeping his name everywhere. But when vlog hype started dying out in the mid-2000s, Shane switched lanes again, this time jumping into conspiracy theory videos. Once again, it worked. These uploads pulled tens of millions of views and pushed his channel past 10 million subscribers by July 2017. Then in 2018, Shane stepped into what would become the most profitable era of his entire career. He flipped the script yet again, rolling out multi-episode docuseries focused on huge internet names like Tana Mongeau, Jake Paul, and Jeffree Star. These projects had insanely high production value for YouTube at the time, and gave viewers what felt like backstage access to some of the platform's most controversial figures. It felt raw, personal, and messy, exactly what people couldn't stop watching. The payoff was massive. These series blew up fast and even grabbed attention from mainstream media outlets. To really show how wild this run was, Shane gained over 12 million subscribers between 2017 and 2019 alone. His influence didn't stop at YouTube either. He dropped 2 books in 2015 and 2016, and both landed straight on the New York Times bestsellers list. On top of that, back in 2014, Shane directed, produced, and starred in a feature-length movie called Not Cool. It was a huge moment for him, but it also cracked open the door to his first serious backlash. The movie was created as part of a reality competition series called The Chair, where 2 new directors adapted the same script into different films, even though Shane technically won the competition, largely thanks to fan voting. The movie itself crashed hard with critics. Reviewers ripped it apart for relying on humor that many felt crossed the line. One critic pointed out that much of the comedy leaned on degrading stereotypes involving marginalized groups, which didn't sit right with audiences. On top of that, the film included multiple tasteless jokes referencing serious and sensitive topics that should never be treated lightly. The backlash got so intense that Zachary Quinto, one of the producers on The Chair, reportedly wanted nothing to do with the project afterward, completely distancing himself from it. That backlash didn't stop with his movie, not even close. Before long, people started digging through Shane's old YouTube uploads, and what they uncovered shocked a lot of viewers. The deeper they went, the worse it looked, and suddenly his past was catching up fast. Just like Not Cool, a huge chunk of Shane's early content leaned heavily on offensive, uncomfortable humor. Many of his characters were extreme caricatures that played into racial stereotypes, pushed for shock, and crossed lines that should never have been crossed. What once passed as edgy suddenly looked way more disturbing under a modern lens. As accusations of racism began stacking up, Shane posted an apology video on September 26, 2014.
To be honest, I didn't really know what it was up until literally a month ago. I knew the term, but I didn't quite know any of the historical, background, and I'm glad that it happened because now I can learn and move on and hopefully help others who are uneducated and ignorant when it comes to this type.
But instead of fully owning the harm caused, he claimed he was still learning and said he didn't understand the historical weight behind blackface at the time. That explanation didn't sit right with a lot of people. The issue with that defense is simple. It doesn't really hold up. Plenty of people his age knew exactly why that kind of behavior was wrong. Lots of folks did embarrassing things when they were younger, sure, but that line wasn't blurry for everyone. Acting like the early to mid-2000s were some kind of awareness-free zone just didn't add up. Still, at the time, the apology worked for many viewers. People saw it as growth and accepted his explanation. One popular comment summed up the mood perfectly, saying, "It's a sign of maturity and understanding. Shane made mistakes. He's owning them, apologizing, and trying to move forward." That sentiment carried him through, for a while. But that controversy barely scratched the surface. As bad as the racist jokes were, they were only one piece of a much darker pattern. What came next would make those earlier issues look small in comparison. Shane's habit of pushing limits for attention didn't stop with race-based humor. His old sketches were also packed with unsettling jokes involving serious and sensitive subjects that should never be treated casually. Looking back, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. Shock first, consequences later. He constantly tried to shock people with wildly inappropriate stunts, pushing things way past normal boundaries just to get a reaction. That included moments where he openly talked about watching explicit adult content alongside his own mother, which alone made many viewers uncomfortable. But what made it even more disturbing was the reality that a massive part of his audience at the time was made up of kids. Even when directly addressing these young viewers in fan mail videos, Shane repeatedly made jokes that were completely out of place and wildly inappropriate. Instead of dialing it back, he doubled down on shock, treating it like a shortcut to laughs and clicks. The problem with shock-based content is simple. It doesn't age well. Eventually, the laughs fade, and all that's left is discomfort. And for Shane, that breaking point hit hard in January 2018. An old clip from his podcast resurfaced online, and it stopped people in their tracks. In that clip, Shane made extremely disturbing remarks about a young fan that crossed a serious line. And as if that wasn't bad enough, he followed it up by making comments that sounded like he was minimizing or excusing people involved in serious crimes. That moment shattered whatever goodwill he still had. For even his most loyal fans, this was too far.
Turns to me and goes, "Oh, are you Instagramming?" And first of all, how does a 5-year-old, 6-year-old know what Instagram is?
Right.
Which is terrifying. And I said, "Okay, little big." why do you have so many followers? And she goes, oh, I'm a cheerleader. And I'm like, oh, really? And she shows me her Instagrams, which are like, first of all, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but like, she's like sexy.
Reactions poured in fast. One viewer said, "This is wild. I knew Shane made bad comments before, but when I was younger I brushed it off as dark humor. This is just too far." Another added, "Wow, this is truly disappointing. Gross." Almost overnight, social media exploded with accusations and outrage. The backlash grew so fast that Shane uploaded a response video the very next day titled, "Regarding the rumors about me today." But once again, instead of fully owning what he said, Shane dodged real accountability. He argued that the comments weren't meant to be taken seriously and claimed he was just playing a character the whole time. It was the same excuse, recycled yet again. Shockingly, it worked, at least back then. The comment section quickly filled with supporters defending him, proving just how untouchable he still was at the height of his fame. His influence was so strong that many viewers were willing to brush off behavior that should have raised serious red flags. But this was far from the end. His past jokes didn't stay buried for long, and only a year later, in March 2019, another old podcast clip resurfaced and went viral. This time, it involved a deeply disturbing story about his cat, and people were instantly horrified. The internet reacted exactly how you'd expect when something that gross comes out. Outrage spread fast, and once again, Shane fell back on the same defense. He claimed the entire story was just an exaggerated joke meant to shock the audience. By now, though, the pattern was impossible to ignore. This wasn't a one-time slip-up. Shane had a long history of doing strange and inappropriate things involving his animals on camera. Clips showed him encouraging his dog to eat or drink directly from his mouth, and other behavior that crossed clear boundaries and raised serious concerns. So even if that specific story wasn't real, the surrounding behavior made people uncomfortable for a reason. Too many moments stacked up, and the excuses started sounding empty. And somehow, even this chaos was nothing compared to what came next. By mid-2020, the internet was already on edge. Following the death of George Floyd and the global Black Lives Matter protests, conversations around racism, accountability, and past behavior exploded everywhere. Old content was being re-examined with fresh eyes, and Shane's history was about to face its biggest reckoning yet. And naturally, with Shane's long and ugly history of racist remarks, he found himself under fire yet again. This time, the backlash wasn't limited to jokes about African Americans. Viewers uncovered clips where he mocked other racial groups too, including entire songs targeting Asian and Mexican communities. The pattern was loud, clear, and impossible to ignore. To make things even worse, another old clip surfaced around the same time that left people deeply uncomfortable.
She's making a heart with her hands. She's not good, so I don't care. She's from New Jersey. What's the age of consent there? I hope it's not 18. Boo! I've always wanted to marry a child. Cheap date. They get to order off the kids menu when you go out to dinner. They get a child's ticket at the movies. Ugh. You got me a puppet. Hey, look, a new Joey Graceffa video on my subscriptions. Hey, Mom, it's ours new video. This would make boners so much more fun and less creepy.
In it, Shane and his then-girlfriend were shown speaking to his very young cousin in ways that crossed serious boundaries. The clip sparked immediate outrage, with many questioning how this content was ever brushed off in the first place. A lot of people finally snapped. One reaction summed it up perfectly. "I don't get how Shane keeps getting a pass. He's a grown man who gets treated like he doesn't know better." And that feeling spread fast. At this point, many viewers felt these weren't isolated mistakes. They were repeated choices made over years. That pressure forced Shane to upload his third and most infamous apology, titled "Taking Accountability." In the video, he apologized for his past behavior and admitted wrongdoing. But by then, the trust was gone. When he tried returning to YouTube, the momentum just wasn't there. Each upload lost hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and eventually, he stopped posting on his main channel altogether. It's been over a year since he last uploaded there. Instead, Shane shifted to his secondary channel, Shane 2, where he still posts for a much smaller audience that continues to support him despite everything. But when his new videos struggle to even crack 1 million views, the message is clear: the internet has moved on. In the end, this downfall wasn't random. It was the result of years of crossing lines, avoiding real accountability, and wasting every chance to truly change. At this point, any comeback attempt is almost guaranteed to fall flat. If you want to dive into another creator facing a similar collapse, click the video on screen now. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment with your thoughts, and share this with others. It really helps the channel grow.